information, pieces of information on social media is that food pyramid that shows supplements at the very, very top representing 1% or even 0.1%. This is incredibly misleading and it's just false. And I'm going to show you exactly why that is. And if you stick around until the end, I'll also show you how this applies to testosterone. So if you want to reverse your declining testosterone as a middle-aged man, I am literally, mark my words, going to give you a tool that will help you do that. But first, I want to sort this out because this food pyramid is misleading. So these influencers will always share this. It's often the nutrition influencers because they see it everywhere else and it just feels good to share. It does feel good, like food first. They rally behind that. And look, I want to be clear. Even though I am affiliated with a supplement company, I am always food first. You can look through the last 10 years of my videos. You will see that I almost always give a food alternative. So today I'm gonna use zinc as an example. Like, yeah, you don't need to supplement zinc if you eat enough oysters, for instance. But the reason supplements are beneficial for so many people is because, for example, food just does not contain the micronutrients that it once did because our soil is depleted and many other reasons. And some of us have individual requirements, which again, we just can't satisfy with food. And I'm going to show you an example of this. So one problem with this pyramid that shows the supplements at the very, very top, which remember we will link to testosterone at the end, is these food labels. So these are pumpkin seeds. Again, to be clear, love pumpkin seeds, very nutritious source. We're using zinc as an example. So if you look at the bottom here, 4 milligrams, and then if you look at the percent daily value, 36. So you would look at that and go, wow, amazing. Why would I ever supplement zinc? I'm getting most of my daily zinc just from a third of a cup. So what's the problem? Well, you don't absorb all of that. So in this scenario, because it's a plant food, again, nothing wrong with plant foods, I want to be clear here, is the zinc in plant foods is bound up by a molecule called phytic acid. So this is something that naturally occurs in plants and it literally will bind up certain minerals like zinc, iron, and so on. And so when you consume these pumpkin seeds, you don't get 4 milligrams of zinc per third cup, even though that's what it says. You only absorb roughly 15% of that because the rest is bound up by this phytic acid, which renders it literally unable to cross your gastrointestinal barrier to get into your absorption. In other words, you just excrete it. And as a side note, you'll see many people, especially in the carnivore community, argue that, you know, this is why plant foods suck because of phytic acid. No, there's actually benefits to phytic acid as well. So there's always two sides to this story. But if we get back to this, that's the key here, is that you're not absorbing all of that. And so we can't rely on these percent daily values or these percent RDAs. This is why things get confusing. And so this is why for some people, yes, supplements can be beneficial. If we now discuss testosterone, this is one of the most important micronutrients for healthy male testosterone levels. There's research showing that if your zinc is deficient and then you replenish your zinc levels, your testosterone will come up. And there's many reasons for that. For one, zinc is literally required for cells in your testes, your Leydig cells, to synthesize testosterone. So it will actually bump up production. Another example is that there's other micronutrients that work alongside zinc for your thyroid hormone. And what does thyroid hormone do? Well, it actually regulates testosterone. So this is a bit of a secondary effect, if you will. And there's other mechanisms here. For example, your testes absolutely hate oxidative stress. You want to avoid that at all costs. What does zinc do? Well, it's involved in production of some of the most important antioxidants in your body, including glutathione. So those are just some example mechanisms. To reiterate, yeah, we can't always rely on food, and zinc is just one example. Now, a good supplement company is aware of this, and full disclosure, I work for a good supplement company, but we are mindful of this, and so we will add a zinc that is resistant to phytic acid. So let's say, for example, you're consuming in a meal with abundance of phytic acid. So maybe it's a vegan meal or a primarily plant-based meal, which again, I have absolutely no issue with. I do that sometimes as well, is just a purely vegan meal. Sometimes I'll even do a 100% vegan day, even though other days I love my meat for breakfast. You can do both. But the point here is that a good supplement company, they'll add a form of zinc. So here we're using something called L-Opti-Zinc, which is resistant to that phytic acid. So even if you take that supplement with a meal rich in phytic acid, it's still absorbed. You can't say that with all supplemental zincs. And so whether you're getting it from food, oysters, you're getting it from supplements, it doesn't really matter. We need to be aware that that food pyramid, where the supplements are at the very, very top, is lacking context, and that's putting it lightly. There's so much more here. If you can increase your testosterone, if you can support your metabolic health with a supplement on the side, should we really have that as a 0.1%? How many people out there can actually truly get everything they need from just food? I believe it's very few. Don't get me wrong, I would love to be one of those people. I'm not in a condition to do that. You have to be living off of the land, etc. So if you'd like more information about absorbing micronutrients, more information about how to sort through all of the health information out there, there's so much. And if you'd like real tools that will actually support your testosterone levels, you can check out my Health Levels community.